Hi, and welcome to the top games that I played in 2025. Now, I did this last year, and for that video, I kinda wanted to make it a point to not include only games that released in 2024 because, to be honest, it was kind of a slow year. There weren't a ton of games that came out in 2024 that were for me. So that list was more mixed, and I kind of wanted to keep that up for this year. But the problem is, 2025 has been such a busy year with so many games that I like coming out that my top 5 this year is not only all games from 2025, but they're all Switch 2 games. So that's what we're in for. But before we get it started with the top 5, I do have a few honorable mentions that I wanted to bring up because there were a lot of games I enjoyed and a lot of them aren't from 2025. So I'm just gonna go through them in the release date order. So these aren't ranked, these honorable mentions, but I just want to bring them up and just say something about them real quick. So let's get started with that. And first off, we have Donkey Kong 94, or it's just called Donkey Kong on the Game Boy. This game is fantastic. Like, it tricks you because you think this is just gonna be the original Donkey Kong, but on the Game Boy. And it starts with the original Donkey Kong levels, but then once you get through those, which is only 4, like there's dozens and dozens of levels that are like puzzle platformers, and it's really, really fun. Everything is really designed around the Game Boy, so like it just feels great to play on this hardware. It's a fantastic game. Probably one of the best games on the Game Boy, really. It's really, really good, and it's still worth playing today, absolutely. Then we have Kirby's Dream Land 2. I wanted to mention this one as well because it's such a big step up from the first one. Like, the first Kirby's Adventure didn't have copy abilities or any of the fancy things you kind of know Kirby for. Like, this was a huge step up in terms of what you can do. It had copy abilities, and then it had the animal friends, which modify your copy abilities to do more stuff. You know, it wasn't until way later in the series that you had copy abilities that could do multiple things. So this kind of did that by combining your copy abilities with an animal friend. And it was really, really cool. Like, there's a lot in this game that's really nice. Just another fantastic game that you should play on the Game Boy. Then we fast forward to 2024 with another Code Recollection. I didn't do a video on this one even though I played it recently, but I played this after Shadow Labyrinth, which I did do a video on, and if you saw that video, you know that game was incredibly frustrating. So another Code Recollection is just like a really cozy, slowed down adventure. Like there's a story and you're just kind of going through it, you know, there's like light puzzles and everything, but nothing here is like challenging. It is just a very relaxing sort of experience going through the story and getting to know these characters. It's really, really charming, and it's wonderful that these games were remade now because these games originated on the DS and Wii. There's 2 of them. And now they're in one package with these 2 stories, and they're just really nice. It's really nice to experience them, so highly recommended. Next up, now in 2025, we have Star Overdrive. I did do a video on this one. This game is actually really fun. I enjoyed this a lot, so it's very heavily inspired by something like Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's a big open world, you know, not super full of stuff, but it's very big, very explorable. And what's really enjoyable about it, and sets it apart, is that you're riding on this hoverboard and that takes you everywhere. So the traversal is way faster and like more acrobatic than something like Zelda. So you're just having a lot of fun just moving around. You jump off of dunes and you can do tricks in the air, and that gives you more boost for when you land. Like it's just a really fun game to navigate. And then there's like shrine type things with puzzles, which are also kind of fun and clever. The story is nice, nothing insane, but like everything about this game is pretty nice. Like it's like a Breath of the Wild, but a cheap version of it, which is fun because it is a cheap version of it. Like it is a lot significantly cheaper than a AAA game. So it's not on the same level, but it's really good. And I also highly recommend this if you have some money set aside, something that you want to spend it on. This is a great choice. And finally, just to round up the honorable mentions, I do have a Switch 2 game, which is Kirby Air Riders. And I feel bad that this isn't like higher up, like this isn't part of the actual ranking. But the thing is that there's already a racing game in there. I'm sure you can guess which one it is. This one is just, it feels a lot more multiplayer focused. Like there is a road trip mode and I enjoy it a lot. It's fun, but it's not a game that I see myself playing as much by myself. Like Mario Kart World, which will be in the list later, I do, and this, like, I do want to play it more, but it's almost always going to be at a party or something, and it's super fun. I have so much respect for the track designs. Like everything here is so beautiful and busy. Like it's a fast-paced game. There's so much content in here. Like I absolutely respect this game so much. I just think for like in terms of like pure enjoyment that I get while playing, it's not as good as the games that are in my top 5, but this is a fantastic game, and I hope I will play it more, but yeah, it doesn't quite make the top 5 for me. So now we get into the actual list, and we'll start at number 5 for 2025, which is Pokemon Legends ZA. This may be my favorite Pokemon game ever, and it's really all up to the battle system, as I mentioned in my review. The new real-time battle system in this game is just absolutely fantastic. Like the way that it works, the strategies that it opens up, the fact that you're using everything in real time, but also your placement matters, so you have to know where your Pokemon is, like to calculate whether your move is going to hit the opponent or not, whether they're gonna hit you. Like there's so much that you have to consider now with this real-time battle system where you can move around and choose where to use moves from. It's so much more fun and engaging than Pokemon battles have really been in the past. For me, I'm not a huge fan of like the turn-based battles myself. So the way that this game plays in terms of the fights is so much better for me. And then you got the Rogue Mega Evolved Pokemon in the story. Like the whole battle against those guys is fantastic, way more fun than, you know, the closest equivalent we really had before was the battles against the rogue Pokemon in Pokemon Legends Arceus. But those are a lot of the issues, and like things not being recognized as like movement not being as smooth or everything. Like this just works so much better. The battles in this game overall are just absolutely fantastic, and that's the reason it's so much fun for me. Like that's why it makes the top 5 here. There are obviously a lot of faults. The visuals are not fantastic. There's something missing there. The movement still isn't as fluid as it should be. Like they try to inject these platforming challenges into it that the movement engine in this game doesn't really allow for as well as they want it to be. So there are some downsides, but this is still my favorite Pokemon game ever. And yeah, number 5, it's really good. You can watch my full review if you haven't. Yeah, very good game. Not perfect, but I really enjoyed it. Then for number 4, we have Mario Kart World, which I don't have the box for because I got the Switch 2 bundle with the game. But yeah, Mario Kart World just beat out Kirby Air Riders to make this list. It's also not a perfect game, but it is super fun and super respectable. I know a lot of people have complaints about this or that, but the open world concept for Mario Kart World is great. Like it's just great. You can go anywhere. It works really well. And I think what makes it work so well is because all of these tracks, they're still really good tracks, but now they have to be integrated into this world. So there's all these things around those tracks that make the world feel so much more rich. And it's just a cool thing to look at. You know, you look at the world around you, and there's something going on everywhere you go. You know, there's not a clear barrier around the tracks. Like it just goes everywhere. So there's this sense of openness and exploration, and just, you know, admiration for everything around you, because the world just comes together really well, and it's absolutely fantastic. And they had to design areas of the world so that things would fit in certain themes. So you have Shy Guy Bazaar in the desert area, and it looks really good there. You know, you have one of my favorite tracks, the Great Question Block Ruins, in this sort of foresty area, and it's also like it's this tropical sort of area, and it looks fantastic. Like the Great Question Block Ruins is actually a really good track. I love the design of that. I really like it. And yeah, there's just a lot of good tracks in this game. Like there's retro courses and new courses, but the retro courses are modified in such a way that sometimes they're not very easily recognizable. They're so different from what they used to be. So everything here feels really fresh, even the returning courses. It all feels really fresh. And then there's Rainbow Road, which is probably my favorite Rainbow Road ever. It's long, it's so varied, it's so colorful, like it's beautiful. I absolutely love this version of Rainbow Road. I know people have problems with the intermission tracks, like going from one major track to the next feels more like driving on a highway, but like I don't think that's a huge problem, as big of a problem as people have made it out to be. I still have fun making those races, and especially, you know, for Knockout Tour, it makes a lot of sense. You need these tracks to connect. And Knockout Tour, by the way, a new mode, absolutely fantastic addition to the Mario Kart series. Like, the cups are still great and I enjoy playing them a lot, but this race that goes across like 4, 5, 6 tracks, you keep going, you never stop, and you'll always have to compete to stay in the race. You know, you can't just make it up on the last lap and pass everyone or something like that. You always have to be in a position where you can make it to the next stage because you get eliminated at the end of certain checkpoints. So it's super, super fun. The Knockout Tour and the cups are super fun. I know some modes suffer, like battle mode. People don't like it as much. I never cared for battle mode in the first place, so that's fine by me. And free roam, I know, could also be better. They should have made it easier to like do the missions and everything, find them, but yeah, okay, it's not a perfect game, but Mario Kart World is super fun. The world is huge. It's full of personality. You have so many characters too. Like there's so many characters in this game, so many random characters, like things you never think would be playable in Mario Kart. You have a Goomba, you have a freaking cow from Moo Moo Meadows. That's my favorite. Like, I love that so much. Like, there's so much to love about Mario Kart World, and I think it's a little more fun to play than Kirby Air Riders. Like, just in general, like Kirby Air Riders, I do have a lot of fun with it, but I think Mario Kart World is just a little bit more for me. And whether it's multiplayer or single player, I feel like I can get a little bit more out of Mario Kart than I do Kirby Air Riders. But yeah, these are both fantastic games, but yeah, Mario Kart World is my number 4 pick this year. Yeah, let's move on. For number 3, we have Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I did a review of this just last week, so you can watch that if you want my full thoughts, but Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is a great game, mostly on account of being a Metroid Prime game. Like, it has some shortcomings. A lot of people will tell you that it's not as good as previous Metroid Prime games, especially the first one, but it's still a Metroid Prime game, and so because of that, it's already just fantastic right off the bat. Like, the sense of exploration that it offers, like all of the scenarios here are beautiful, well crafted. The exploration in them, it just feels great to explore all these scenarios, and you know, you get that sense of progression that Metroid is so good at, where you unlock all the upgrades. You know, a lot of times in the beginning you'll see something that's just out of reach, like you know you're going to need something to get to it, and you don't know what yet, but you'll just have to wait a little bit longer, and then as you get those upgrades, you start being able to go back to all these areas that you couldn't get to before. And you know, backtracking, you know, some people might say that's a little annoying, but I think there's a sense of satisfaction where you just keep unlocking new things. There's new abilities and you always feel like you're evolving. I think Metroid really nails that feeling of progression and just making you feel like you're moving towards something and getting stronger. And that is still here. It's fantastic. The open world, and I know the hub world, it's not perfect, but it's like riding Viola is still fun. Like the Viola, like the bike, is pretty fun to control. Like they really did nail the controls for the bike. And you know, that's something I was kind of worried about because they haven't had something like that before in a Metroid game, but they nailed it. And so it's fun to just drive around a little bit. The dungeons or shrines, like there's a lot of little things here and there that are really fun to do. I think the connecting tissue of the hub world is kind of the problem, that it's not super varied or interesting otherwise. But there's a lot of fun stuff in Metroid Prime 4. And yeah, we won't talk about the story here because it is a little disappointing, but because it's a Metroid game and a Metroid Prime game, this is still super fun. There are faults compared to other Metroid Prime games, and it's easier to talk about those, but this was a really, really fun experience. And the controls in this, fantastic. On the Switch 2 edition, like this is also on the Switch 1, but the Switch 2 edition mouse controls, make this game even more hectic and more fun. Like, I absolutely adore playing with mouse control in this game. It's a little more fast-paced, you're a little more accurate. It's fantastic. I absolutely love this game, even with all of its flaws. Then for number 2, we have Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I'm kind of surprised that Hyrule Warriors, or a Warriors game in general, would make it to my top 5, but this is a pretty special game because it takes the world of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and it just expands it greatly. I've done my review of this game, so you can watch that if you like my full thoughts, but this game really just takes that world that we know from those 2 games and it enriches the characters, it offers more context for everything that's happening, and it really gets you invested in all of the characters in this game. Like, there's just so much more to this story. It really does what a lot of people wanted Nintendo to do with Tears of the Kingdom coming off of Breath of the Wild. It just give us more story. That was a big problem with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, people wanted more story and it was missing there a little bit. And Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment does that. Like, there's so much more to talk about with this story. There's so much more that you're witnessing, and it gets you more invested in the characters and in the world, and even some new characters that they add here that they really get you attached to it, even though you kind of know where it's going, because this is a canonical prequel to Tears of the Kingdom. So you kind of know the end game here, but it still gets you invested in the story, and it's just really fun. Like, it's engrossing because the story is good. And then the combat, Hyrule Warriors and Warriors games in general, they are inherently a little repetitive and grindy, but they added a lot here that added a bit more variety with new types of moves. So there's a lot of ways that you can approach a battle, a lot of different things you can do to make things easier for yourself. So it stays fresh and fun a lot more than something like Age of Calamity. It's a lot better because of those additions. It makes a big difference. And I like it a lot. It still can get a little bit grindy, especially if you're like me and you want to keep all your characters the same level. But anyway, and like the gameplay is really fun. The visuals are great because it runs at 60 frames per second now. Like I said, the story is great. There's really good Zelda music in here. Some of the ice stages, I think, have my favorite songs here. It's beautiful. Some of the music here is really great. Again, this is just a really fun game to play, and you get this, there's just a fun like power trip sort of feeling when you get to mow down these enemies like by the hundreds. And yeah, this lives up to that, but there's a whole new ways to do it that keep things a little more fresh. So yeah, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment is a lot of fun. Highly recommended. Yeah, and it's one of the great reasons to buy a Switch too. But finally, at number 1, who could have guessed? It's Donkey Kong Bonanza. We started with Donkey Kong, we're ending with Donkey Kong. And this game is just phenomenal. Like, I don't know what else I can say. It's such a good game. Just across the board, like, it's fantastic. Donkey Kong Bonanza, I think, embodies just sheer fun in a way that I don't know another game that has done so well in recent times. Like, it's so great. You would think, you look at the gimmick of the game, it's just punching everything and destroying the entire level, and you might think that gets tiring after a while, but it really doesn't. Like, I saw a lot of people would start the game and like in the tutorial room, they would just smash the entire room to bits. So like, there's already that initial sense that you just want to punch everything. But even once you get past that feeling of like, okay, I'm gonna destroy everything around me, because that part does get a little owned initially, it keeps being fun to smash things to get to certain goals, to get to places, to get to collectibles, because once you get the sonar, you can see like through walls where items are, and then it's really satisfying to keep punching the walls and just digging holes to get to the things that you want, and you keep finding new things, by digging holes, digging through walls. You find new areas, secret areas that have more collectibles, more missions and things like that. And that always remains fun. And it's also in big part because there's this sense of tactility to punching in Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like, when you punch something, you really feel it. There's the vibrations in the controller, there's the sounds, And it really varies depending on what you're punching. So it always feels very satisfying because it's never really the same. You know, punching sand is different from punching a rock, which is different from punching wood. And you know, these things break in different ways. You know, sand isn't going to drop bits all over the place, but rocks will like send bits flying, and wood will also send bits flying, but they chip in different ways because wood breaks differently from rock. So like it all feels tactile and sort of realistic in the sense like it behaves how you would kind of expect that material to behave, and that really helps keep the game fun. Like it's always exciting to break something different, you know, and that never really goes away throughout the entire game. And then, you know, it's also fun to punch enemies and defeat them. The boss fights, I thought, you know, they're not challenging, but they're fun. I enjoy them. And once you start getting like upgrades and the new abilities, like it just keeps getting better. The new abilities just have new ways to get things done. It's more fun every time. Like it just keeps adding new abilities, new ways to break through things, and it's just really fun. And this is all not even counting like the final boss, which, wow, the final boss sequence is incredible. I think I spoiled it in my review. I won't do it here, but the final boss sequence, fantastic. Everything about this game is great. And then there's the music, there's some wonderful tracks in this game with great vocals by Pauline's voice actress. Like such great songs, like the final credits song, Breaking Through, so beautiful. I love that song so much. And the Zebra Bonanza theme is personally one of my favorites. It's really, really fun to listen to. It's a bop. Do people still say bop? Whatever, it's great. I really like it. So just everything about this game is so good. It's great. It is easily my favorite game of this year. Like all of these games are great, but I don't see any way any other game could have beaten Donkey Kong Bonanza here. It was so good. And this one is the reason to buy a Switch 2. Like it's such a great game. Yeah, that would be my game of the year. With that being said, that's my list. It's been a busy year. A lot of great games came out. Nintendo was busy, you know, with the Switch 2 coming out. A lot of games coming out for it. It's been a great year for gaming, I would say. And I'm sure you might have different picks. So if you have any thoughts on your favorite games in 2025, let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to see more of it, more videos coming in the future. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye.